As I walked in, I noticed that the building looked a little old, and despite its size, it seemed to have even more people than interns. Oh God. What did I want to do? Inspect. Inside. The building seemed old, but the clinic itself was clean. The waiting room was filled to burst. To get this kind of turnout, the doctor there must have been top notch. The nurse at the receptionist's desk was staring at me from the back of the room. You're ugly. It didn't look like she was staring because she appreciated my rugged good looks. Really? My first impressions are rarely that great. Still, I figured I might as well say hi and see if she knew anything about Mary. You idiot. I'm very sorry, but I don't have the authority to give out the patient's information. Damn you. I took out my business card. What did I want to talk about? Oh God, I should really put that out. I took out my business card and mentioned that the police had sent me. You were hired by the police? Yes, ma'am. My name is Jay Hunter. I'm a detective. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's alright with you. Miss Mary Taylor? Yes, she visited this clinic once in the past. Interesting. Is there a doctor who knows about Miss Taylor's condition who I can speak to? Yes, there is. This clinic has only one doctor, Miss Dr. Nicholson. So he should be able to answer any questions about a patient. His office is down the hall. Thanks. The receptionist showed me to the doctor's office. She briefly explained the situation to the doctor and hurried back to her duties. Hold on a moment. Back again. Just had to do the laundry. Can't waste the opportunity of the good sun. Okay. Inspect. Doctor's office. This. Ah! The office had a sterile feeling to it. The doctor was staring at me. Woo! That's a weird face. His name tag told me he had to be the clinic's director. Judging by the age of the building and his age, as well as by the friendly attitudes of the male nurses towards him, he must have been the second or third director of the clinic. Right. Excuse me. Huh? Ah, what the hell? Excuse me. What did I want to do here? Alright, I just finished that. Now let's talk to the puppet face. Moi. It's nice to meet you. My name is Jake Hunter and I'm a detective. I came here to ask you a couple of questions regarding a case I'm working on. Yes, Miss Iriam, the receptionist, told me about you. You're investigating Miss Taylor's case at the request of the police, am I right? Correct? Yes, Miss Taylor certainly did visit us a few days ago. such a delicate matter, but to be honest, it wasn't just about Miss Taylor's condition. She was a victim of medical malpractice. Dun, 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 dun. The plot was thickening. Honestly, I was surprised the first time I examined her. Miss Taylor was suffering from a heart condition, but it was one that could have been cured with a simple surgery. There was no explanation for the aggravated state of her condition, other than surgical malpractice. I wanted to be sure, so I examined every other possibility. But at this point, I'm almost certain that Miss Taylor was the victim of a botched surgery. I see. My heart went out to her. I really wanted to help her out. I still can't believe what's happened to her. Miss Taylor was suffering from a heart condition, but it was one that could have been cured with a simple surgery. Excuse me. There was no explanation for the aggravated stage of her condition other than surgical malpractice. How am I reading this again? The surgery. Miss Taylor didn't tell me where she had undergone the operation. I thought that this kind of grave matter should be exposed, but... Right. Oh no, don't mention it. Oh, that's right! I just remembered. Miss Cass at the reception counter told me that there's another person asking about Miss Taylor. You have a partner, perhaps? Wait? Unfortunately, Miss Cass is not in today, so I don't know exactly what happened. I heard that it was a woman. A woman, huh? Thanks for telling me that. Oh my god. This boob! I left the Nicholson clinic. The wind whipping my cigarette smoke down the empty street. The pieces were finally starting to fall together. Not on my watch. I needed to get back to the office and see what kind of picture they were turning into. Oh. Welcome back, sir. Have you solved the case yet? Not yet, babe. But I think I'm almost there. I hope I can provide some closure for that poor girl's friend. Yeah. Office. For the last couple of days, I'd really only been back to the office to sleep. Of course, once the case was over, I'd probably be spending a lot of time there. I watched dusk begin to settle down across the street of Aspizio as neon lights brushed the sleep out of their eyes and woke up. As half of the city headed for bed, the other half were just beginning their day. Very soon, Mary's case would be solved, and then I'd be back to watching girls on the street and waiting for a client. Really? I pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and blew a cloud of smoke across the room. At least I'd have plenty of time for smoking and scotch. What does it taste like? The case. I already know who the killer is. What? I don't know yet. But if I want to squeeze a confession out of him, I'd better have my ducks in a row. Psst. Yes, sir, the organization of your ducks will be critical to success. Really? Perhaps you should organize your thoughts instead of filling your lungs with poisonous chemicals. Rag. Wrapping up the case seems to have put you in a good mood, sir. Yeah. Can't get cocky though. I've gotta play my hand carefully. I don't want to scare him off on the blind. If I make a mistake now, it could cost me the case. Oh god. Still, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little excited. It's been a while since I've had a case like this. It must be refreshing to actually do some work from time to time, sir. From what you've told me, it sounds like Miss Taylor was quite a woman. It's a tragedy. What's wrong with me today? It's a tragedy. Someone like her had to die. Yeah. She got the short end of the stick all her life. It didn't slow her down. And now she's gone for good. That's one thing about murder cases. Doesn't matter how well I do. The best I can manage is just revenge. I still don't know who it was that sent me those messages. But I got a few ideas about who it might be. Then... Ah! Hold on mi mundo. Finish answering the phone call. Are you going to find out who it is? No reason to do that. I'm not a cop, babe. I'm pretty sure that whoever sent me those messages did it out of guilt. I think they've had a rough enough time of it already. They don't need me hounding them and making it worse. Besides, it's just a guess. The killer won't spill the beans on his own. He's gonna need a little bit of push. I'm just waiting on one last thing, which is a phone call. Should be coming in anytime now. No sooner were the words out of my mouth that Vera started ringing. I knew it was. The night was just about to start. I pressed Vera to my ear and heard Diego's calm, deep voice. Concerning the issue we discussed, your information was accurate. Mr. Corso confessed. Blind by the promise of wealth, he purchased some of the substance he discovered from a doctor at... Eterna's University Hospital. He has brought shame to the Salvatore family and will be dealt with accordingly. I like how there's the pause in between. Thanks, Drago. I apologize for my skepticism, Mr. Hunter. You must understand that I am reluctant to suspect my own men. About that, I have a favor to ask. Anything. You have protected the honor of the Salvatore. I am in your debt. It's not a big deal, but the doctor who did business with Mr. Corso, is he still alive? Yes, as far as I know. Then can you have Mr. Corso make a call for me? I can and will have Mr. Corso do a great many things. What is it that you need? Nothing too complicated. I told Drago what I needed Mr. Corso to tell the doctor. Is that all? That's it. You're a lifesaver, Drago. Certainly. Mr. Hunter, would you be so kind as to come by the office sometime soon? I would like to offer you a formal apology. Oh my god, and perhaps I'm Glenn Morangi. You should know how to apologize to men. I'll be sure to drop by, Dragon. We said our goodbyes and hung up. I tugged the cigarette out of my pack and tucked it between my teeth. The gun was cocked. I just had to wait and see if the killer would pull the trigger. Alright, babe. It's time for me to show King why he's going to write that check. I hope you boys have a wonderful time, sir. Brilliant. No more putting this off. I'm going to the park. Hold all my calls. Next time I see you, there'll be one less killer on the streets. Oh boy. Good luck, sir. Try not to get shot. You're a peach, babe. Oh, almost forgot. Can you try to get a hold of King and ask him to call me? Mr. Kingsley? Of course, sir. Thanks, sweetheart. You're the best. I pulled on my jacket and stepped out into the auspicious night. The buzz of the downtown crowds drifted through the cold night air. Time to sink or swim. I arrived at Auspicious Central Park. The scene of Mary's murder was down the path. But first, I needed to wait for King. Yulia had come through again. I got in touch with King and he was going to meet me at the park. It was the time of the night when Auspicious criminal element was usually the most active. I was sure the police station was abuzz with activity. It had surprised me that Yulia had even managed to get a hold of King. I wonder if he would even make it. Just as I was starting to think that the old man was going to ditch me, I heard quiet footsteps behind me. I turned around to see King trotting toward me, his face flushed. The old boy's been in a hurry to get here. So far, everything was going according to plan. Every ying? What is that? Everything, not every ying. I must say this is somewhat out of my way, my boy. We're terribly busy back at the station. Do tell me why you brought me out here. Ha 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 ha. We're going to inspect the murder scene. But Jake, I'd rather think we've done a bang up job of that already. If that's all, I'm afraid I must have other matters on my schedule. Wait, King, that's not what I meant. Going to arrest the killer. We're here to arrest Mary Taylor's killer. What? Ouch. Ah, my headphone. How and where? We'll find it right down the path. Because I told him to come here. That seems terribly easy, my boy. Are you sure? I'm sure as a man can be. Are you going to tell me who it is? Oh god. There's a climb. Who's this? Ah! Wait, save. I'm not even sure myself. How is he thinking of all these things already? Who's Kim again? Someone else. Oh, so who is it then? I'm sorry, just give me one more chance. I know this, I swear. Ah! I did wrong again. There's pressure climbing. What? That makes no sense. That's just because you don't know all the facts yet. Trust me. Alright. Let's go get it. Wait a second, King. Ah! What did I do? Up. Go back. Is something wrong? Wait a second. I need you to do me a favor. Could you bring someone here for me? Eh? And would that be? Why am I... Ah! The witness. Wait, there was a witness? That's right. I watched King's eye widen as I explained it to him. I see. I'll just go and get him then. Yeah. I'm going to go check things out at the crime scene first. Godspeed then. Be careful, Jake. Eh, it's me. I watched King trot off into the darkness of the park. It was my turn. The park was quiet at night as it was noisy and busy during the day. Patches of light cast by the sparse lamps only made you wonder what was going on in the dark. It was a map of the park. I could make it out very well in the dark. Somewhere down there was a crime scene. The killer would be showing up there any minute. Gosh, I knew there was nothing in it, but I couldn't keep myself from taking a peek. Curiosity is only a valuable trait for a detective. Murder scene. I put out my cigarette and began walking towards the scene of Mary Taylor's unfortunate demise. I didn't think getting the professor to confess would be easy, but I knew he'd break eventually. They were enough. And if King could get the witness in time, I'd have the trump card I needed to take the bait. This had gone on long enough. Hey, where are you? Hey, what is he thinking here? Of all the places to meet. What's he up to? Hey, show yourself. Inspect. Dum dum dum. That night, the park turns from a bustling retreat from the city light to a silent expanse of still grass and motionless trees. The professor stood stock still. His eyes searching the park for someone. Even from a distance, I could see sweat beading on his forehead. I stuck to the tree line, keeping to the shadows. I was still watching the professor when I heard a twig snap behind me. I spun around in panic and saw King approaching with my witness. Let me know when you're coming, King. I just about cast a kitten. Oh, did I scare you, Jake? I'm terribly charming, by the way. Things went well on my end. Good to see. Let's go wrap this up. It was time for the professor to face the music. King stood next to me in the shadows. Should we make a move now, Mom? The professor didn't notice as I crept up behind him. Sorry, Professor, but I don't think your friend will be joining us tonight. Professor Klein spun around and gave me a withering glare. What? Wait. You're the detective from before. Why the hell are you here? Why am I here? That's pretty simple. Although it may be difficult for a person of your intelligence to understand. I'm here to take you down. What did you say? What the hell are you talking about? I don't care who you are. I'll sue you for defamation of character. You're not being very cooperative, so I guess I'll get straight to the point. You killed Mary Taylor. What? Ha! That's ridiculous. Why the hell would I kill my own patient, you imbecile? Medical error. As I recall, you did some surgery on Mary a couple of years ago, right? Yes, that's right. What's of it? You messed it up. Your mistake caused some pretty serious complications in Miss Taylor's condition. You chose to abuse your position of authority and didn't tell her. No. Who the hell told you that? The doctor examined her, testified it. Who doctor? The doctor who examined her? Miss Travis? No, it wasn't Sarah. It was her new doctor, Dr. Nicholson, at the Nicholson Clinic. But if you suspected her, then that means she knew about it as well. That hadn't occurred to me. And once she found out about it, Mary accused you of malpractice. You couldn't let that little tidbit get out, so you had to shut her up. Let's say that I admit it. But give it up, Professor. With what I know, the police will have enough evidence to put you away in a couple of days. God. But how could a doctor like me murder someone? Do you even have any evidence in the first place? The paper said Miss Taylor was murdered right on the spot. Shouldn't there have been some witnesses? Bum. One of the park's bums saw the whole thing. And why didn't he come forward? The reason why... wait, save. I don't trust myself. Scared, threats, narcotics? The professor had been involved with narcotics. I didn't see as that had anything to do with the bombs. They might have been a pack of runners, but it didn't seem like they were on dope too. It was possible, but it seemed like they would have behaved differently if they were being directly threatened. I'd visited them several times, and I hadn't ever seen anything to suggest that they were being threatened. My homeless friend didn't want to testify because he was worried that it could cause trouble for him and his friends. What do you mean? What could this possibly have to do with some bums? You fund the homeless outreach program in this park. So, if you got arrested, the whole program would have to be discontinued. That would have been pretty bad news for the park's homeless population. Their sense of community is stronger than you think. Sorry. He would have testified if he was the only one affected, but not if it was going to jeopardize the livelihood of his friends. What a load of crap. So what? I think you've made this all up. If this man even exists, what makes you think he'll come forward now? Well, why don't you ask him yourself? No. I forgot which one is that face. He hadn't told me anything, but I managed to put 2 and 2 together. He'd seen something, and I was pretty sure what I knew. He's right here, my boy. Good old king. Mr. Aldenberg, can you come out here? As I spoke, Mr. Aldenberg stepped out from the shadow of the trees. I was gonna keep it to myself because I didn't want to cause any trouble, but I just couldn't forget about it. Mr. Aldenberg, can you tell us who murdered Miss Taylor that night? Mr. Klein, it was you. I saw you choking that poor girl. Are you positive? Of course I am. I see your face in my dreams every night. I can't stand it. Your face lit by the park lights. Oh God. Drop the act, Professor. You've got you dead to rights. You've lost, Mr. Klein. Mr. Aldenberg will testify in court that he saw you murder Miss Taylor. And Mr. Hunter's investigation had also revealed that you may have been involved with the drug trade. I think it's about time to give up the ghost, eh? She was just a mistake to you, and you needed to erase that mistake. And Mary Taylor wasn't a mistake. Not to her friends, not to her boyfriend, not to her family. She was a bright flame in the dark world that you snuffed out. And for what? Your reputation? Your ego? You don't understand. You're damn right I don't understand. I don't understand how someone who's sworn an oath and ordered to do no harm, say no harm in murder. You killed a person. Now you're going to pay for it. Yes, I did it. And that was how the case came to a close. But all it did was bring everything to an end. solving the case wouldn't bring Mary back. No one is ever truly happy at the end of a case. There is always a feeling of emptiness that stays with them. That is murderous, harsh truth. Looks like Mr. Klein's drug business might have had something to do with Miss Taylor's death after. Have you not been listening? Wait. As he started to move more and more of the stuff, he began cutting back on anesthetics. Anesthetics during surgery. That was how he kept the book's balance and hid his black market dealings from the hospital. So a lack of anesthetic screwed up Mary's surgery? It's not like Professor Klein was always bad. Yeah, I heard that too. When he needed the money to get tenure, that Mr. Corso approached him with an attractive offer. A simple choice, made in a moment of weakness, can change a person's life forever. Rather humbling, wouldn't you say? Money can be a powerful force. There aren't many men who can resist the temptation of wealth. Maybe. I think you probably could. Oops. Isn't it around here? Yep. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. It looks like we're not the only people mourning her death. Yep. Ah! Just as I was about to lay my flowers on the grave, Mary's cell phone started to ring. That's a victim's cell phone, isn't it? I didn't think you still had it. She said she didn't need it anymore, now that the case has been closed. Back. My daughter was awake. Okay, Sam said she didn't need it anymore, now that the case has been closed. I thought maybe I'd put it to rest here. I flipped open the phone. Another message from my mysterious informant. What's the matter, my boy? Tap, tap, tap. It's nothing. It seems like it had been months ago when the first message appeared on Mary's phone. But why is someone calling Miss Taylor? Everyone she knew should have been informed. That's true. I guess it's a real mystery then. Unless it's Miss Taylor herself. From beyond the grave. Oh, do knock it off, James. And check. I hate those kinds of stories. You're a policeman, goodness sake. Ha ha ha. For a policeman, you're pretty spooked, King. I opened what I could only assume would be the final message from my mysterious friend. It was only 2 words. Is it thank you? Thank you. Oh my god. Well, it's always nice to get to know you're appreciated, if it's only by a dead girl. That's an awful joke, Jake. Where are you going, my boy? Why is he my boy? I thought maybe I'd stop by to thank her too. Eh? Is it the hospital? I pulled out the cigarette and headed towards the Eternus University Hospital. There was someone I needed to talk to. Oh, Mr. Hunter. What brings you here? I thought that the case had been solved. Yeah. I just wanted to thank you for your help. Huh? If it wasn't for you, I would never figure it out. Thank you. The petty murder of a fragile heart. I see. So, Mr. Hunter is a detective. Was the guy who was in front of the building Mr. Hunter? Was the woman Miss Marks? Yeah, it must have been. So they were... Uh-oh. Wait. Wait a minute. Had I snuck into a detective's house? If Mr. Hunter really was a detective, then he was sure to find evidence that I snuck in. And once he knew that, it would be easy for him to track me down. Maybe there would be a chance that Mr. Hunter would find me before the guy who had said he was his friend could explain. If that happened, I was going to explain everything. How was I going to explain everything? Even if I said I was told to. I didn't know the name of the guy who told me to come to the office. This wasn't good. I have to hurry and get out of here. You idiot.
You're on that map.